big thank you to Blue Tusk Tech and also to Global Wine and Spirits for being our sponsors, and we thank you very much. Way back in 2004, hard to believe it's been almost 20 years ago, my photographer at Channel 2, Ward Fasold, who's quite a character. I could do a whole blog podcast on him. But anyway, we flew down to South Florida for a Bills-Dolphins game, which was set for December 5th. But on December 4th, on a Saturday, something happened the day before the game that will be one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. We'll continue this story in just a second, but I want to thank a couple of our brand new sponsors. One is Blue Tusk Tech, and where I go, they're in Orchard Park, but they have some other locations. But if you have a used Mac or any type of former Apple products, they are the best. They can fix them up. They can sell you previously owned or repairs, upgrades, all of that, and they will also give you right now 60% off of anything of any current retail prices. So they are great. Blue Tusk is simply the best. Also, I want to thank Global Spirits and Wine. My go-to place is at McKinley Mall, but they're also in Orchard Park, and they're simply as good as it gets. Okay, back to the story. So the Saturday before the game, we fly into Fort Lauderdale, and it's about noon by the time we touchdown. Ward and I are heading for the hotel, and we don't really have any plans. We're just going to kind of hang out, and boy, it was beautiful, the warm, balmy weather in South Florida after it was pretty chilly up in Buffalo. So we get in our rental car, we're driving along, we're listening to the radio, and all of a sudden we start hearing this talk about the ACC championship game, which was about to be played in the Orange Bowl. ACC championship game between Virginia Tech and Miami U. Miami U had Devin Hester back then. They also had Roscoe Parrish, who later played for the Bills. But so we're listening to the radio, and we looked at each other and we said, why don't we just see if we can get, maybe scrounge a ticket some way. Of course, it was sold out, but it wasn't that far a drive from Fort Lauderdale to get to the Orange Bowl, which of course is now gone. So we drive down there, and we got there literally just at the opening kickoff. Not a parking space to be had. The stadium is packed. It looked hopeless. We were about ready to just turn around and give up. All of a sudden, here's a guy with a couple of tickets. We paid him $20 a piece. These tickets were on the 40-yard line, about 30 rows up. They were absolutely perfect seats. And we only missed about 4 or 5 minutes of the football game. So we watched this great, entertaining game, except for Miami fans, because Vautech won it. I think it was 16-10, and they held Hester without any punt return or kickoff return touchdowns, which is always good. So here's where the story really gets interesting. So the only place we could park was in a driveway of a residential area there, and there was a person out there, and we had to pay a little bit for that. The problem was, because there was no room, we had to park where we were blocked in. But a lot of people were blocked in, so that wasn't that big a deal, or so we thought. So the understanding is, yeah, when the game's over, all these cars will go and we can get out of there. Well, the game ends, we start heading back, and we realize there's a big crowd of people around where we've parked our car. And nobody's moving. It's all still packed. And it turns out there is one small little compact car that is blocking the driveway, and there are probably 10 cars, including ours, that were blocked in there. Now, we have quite a group right there. We're all looking at each other. We've got some black guys with a bunch of jewelry. We've got Hispanic people that are of all ages and sizes. We have white folks, brown folks, black folks. It was like a United Nations group there, and we've all got the same problem. This one car is blocking the driveway. So what do? We all get together, and we decide we're going to, as a team, we're going to lift this car and move it. And that's what we did. We get all shoulder to shoulder. We surround this little car, and we pick it up, and we move it over to the sidewalk, and we set it down. high fives all around. It was, you had to be there almost, but it's something Ward and I talked about for years, but it was just kind of a little show of how, what a great country this is, sometimes if you just give it a chance.